So I'll begin. Good evening and a very warm welcome to all the attendees. Today, we are connected on this virtual platform to gain a better insight towards the legal perspective on Pegasus Spyware. Pegasus, an Israeli spyware, has not only been a topic of discussion on political forums and news channels, but also among our peer groups. And for the same reason, we need to understand the nitty-gritties of the topic. For this, we have a respected guest amongst us who, with his knowledge and understanding, will certainly be able to provide a much better insight on the topic. I warmly welcome Mr. Sanjay K. Chadha. Sir, we are delighted to have you here with us. Sir has done his LLB from Faculty of Law, Delhi University, and is the founding partner of BSK Legal, which deals in litigation and arbitration. His area of practice focuses on civil and commercial disputes, labor and employment law, intellectual property litigation, consumer protection, and consumer criminal arbitration. He also has been invited by several news channels to gain his expert legal advice on various topics. Thank you so much, sir, for joining in today. With this, I would also like to welcome members of the Career Service Cell and faculty members of School of Law. I would now request Mr. 𝐂𝐚𝐽𝐲 𝐊, faculty convener of IPC School of Law, to kindly welcome the guest. So,
Hi, thank you, Arushi. So, firstly, I would like to thank Mr. Chadha for accepting our request for delivering this session on this very pertinent issue, which is upcoming nowadays. Very recently, we all know the intricacies of privacy law, and however, we know that the media is silent on few aspects. So that is why we plan to actually talk about this and consider the legal perspectives of this privacy issue, which has been which is originated from Israel, basically. So thank you, Mr. Chadha. I would like to, extend my gratitude from the School of Law, all the fraternity of the School of Law, for accepting our request. So you may begin, please.
Thank you very much, Siddharth, Gaurav, Purti, and Arushi. Thank you very much for arranging it. It is always a pleasure to meet the young budding lawyers, I call them, the law students. It's a privilege to be with you. Thank you very much. The issue which, as Siddharth has very rightly said, that very recently started issue which is quite in news these days, and so our objective today is, for this discussion, for purpose of which we are meeting, would be talk about what exactly Pegasus is, what basically, why this is in news, what are the consequences, what is the legal framework as far as the India is concerned, whether it is permissible, the use of this software or spyware, as people call it, or some people even call it what you call the warware. So we will talk about it. And what very recently, a day before, today is Saturday, Friday, the Supreme Court has admitted the petition filed by a few people. What will be the outcome? What is the prayer in those cases? That's what, in gist, I would try and assimilate and convey to all of you. So what is Pegasus? The first question is what very rightly Arushi has correctly mentioned, that it is an Israeli spyware software which is developed by a company, or rather a group called NSO Group, which is an Israeli group, and their contention is that it is they have developed this particular software, and which is in great demand for the purposes of giving an authority, rather giving a right to the governments, various governments of all across the country, so that all across the world, so that they use this spyware to protect their own interests. Now, this is what is the background. What is Pegasus software? Now, how does this Pegasus software work? That is also very, very important. I just wanted to put across a question to myself and ask without knowing, if I don't know, somebody comes and hijacks my information from my phone, everything is taken away, is as if somebody who wants to see that, look, this is what is uh, this particular information, knowledge about my phone. Let's say it's basically, if I may tell you, like if I give an example, what exactly happens, it is your a missed call will come, and just by virtue of that missed call or a message, the installment of the software within your phone is done. Just a missed call will come, nobody will touch your phone, nobody will even come, somebody sitting miles away will just give you a missed call, and a software will be loaded in your phone. And now what will happen? That software will, your messages, your WhatsApp, your SMSs, your calls, your camera, front camera, back camera, everything, is as if you are using somewhere else it will be used. A clone, rather, the right word would be a clone will be prepared. Now, this is so dangerous. You just see, if if an important person is talking, you have to appreciate, all of you know this, that there are so many private talks. There are so many things which we don't generally discuss in open with others, with people. And here, the person who has installed that particular software in your phone in such a swift manner, I can say, you are not aware, you have no knowledge about the factum that this is uploaded, it is fixed in your phone. Now, with that, what will happen? Now this thing is loaded in your phone. Now the person who is supervising, who is rather doing this surveillance on you, would be having all your information, would be having all your telephone conversations. And the other aspect which is very, very crucial is, let's say he has got all the capacity. I said clone means the same thing is in his hand. He can even, to the extent, if I may tell you very clearly, he can give SMS from your side to somebody. He can erase your SMSs. He can call, he or she, whatever, whosoever is using, that individual can even call using your phone, and you are not aware. The beauty is that you are not aware. You don't know each and every aspect of your conversation, your messages, everything is with that person who is keeping an eye on you. So this is what is Pegasus software. Now, it is a very costly software. Though it is not that costly. 60 crore rupees per year is the cost of this software for keeping surveillance on over 500 or 400 to 500 people. Now, this causes a large scale intrusive surveillance, to be very precise, I must say. Now, what happens is, if you go to the company NSO for this software, they will not sell it to an individual. If you ask them, there was a question being asked to them, Bhai, what is this that you have given? If somebody wants to buy, they said, no, we have our own mandate. We give, this line is very, very crucial for the knowledge of all the people who are listening to our program. Please understand that this software is available only to the governments or its departments. This is what is the way, this is what is the information given by the NSO. Now, at this background, you know how important, how as far as spying is concerned, how important this software is. And if we see it, each and everything which belongs to you is gone. Right to privacy is absolutely gone from you if this software is used for it. This is just the background. Now, why this particular thing, why this thing is in news, why it is in news, if I may put a question to myself. All of you are aware, this Paris-based media house, Forbidden Stories and Amnesty International, they have based upon their information, the newspapers or the media houses, Washington Post, Guardian, our own Wire, Indian, have published a list which shows that so many people internationally, the important people from the government are being, they've been, there is a surveillance on their phone. Their phones are being, the Pegasus software is inserted in their phones. Now, you will be shocked to know that in India, as per the news report, the list contains over 300 people. We have to appreciate who are these 300 people. You will be surprised to note this includes a long list of journalists. This includes leaders, opposition leader. Rahul Gandhi's name is also there, just to mention. Ministers, the sitting ministers, which is so shocking. And you will be surprised that even judiciary is not left. Judges are seen, their names are also mentioned. Very important people, over 300 people's names are there in this list. If I may tell you, historically, since the Pegasus software was always in news, we have seen it was in, firstly, a human rights activist was, his phone was hacked or whatever you call it. In 2016, it was quite in news. Then I remember one name, what is his name? That US critic, Jamal Khashoggi, as I might be not pronouncing it correct. Who that person who was killed in the Saudi consulate in 2018? Remember? So his name with his murder, we see that Pegasus software was involved in the spy of all that. So there we have seen the Pegasus was in news. And very you all we remember Facebook had also sued the Pegasus for keeping an eye on its approximately 1,400 users, Facebook users. So that is what was we have seen historically. Pegasus NSO software was in news for these reasons. But going now the most important thing, why it has come to India, as I told you, so many people, influential people of India, which and one thing is there are two very important aspects which we have to keep in mind. One aspect is that the government is doing the surveillance. Other aspect is government is doing the surveillance, but through some international agency, so that international agency is also having the data. This is a very, very, very critical point. Very important it is. Today the people might be in your favor, tomorrow they might not be. So that is very important. On these two counts, I now go to a proposition whether government can do this, whether it is allowed in our legal infrastructure, What is the legal perspective, as Siddharth and Gaurav have fixed today's topic. So this was the historical perspective. Why Pegasus software is in news, why this spyware is in news, which we discussed. Now the important and relevant aspect, which all of you should know as law students, I must say, because most of you are from law background. So that is, can government do this? Is government allowed to purchase this kind of software? Now, all of you must know one thing very clearly. All the governments, world over, I'm telling you, for protecting their international rights, for protecting their sovereignty, for protecting their borders, do spying. We all are well aware. You know, KGB is a spying agency. We know America has its own. India has its own. We have our own system through which we keep spying, and we have, you know, RAW is there. All of you are aware of it. ISI is what is the agency for Pakistan. Why Pakistan's name I'm taking? Because Pakistan is what we are politicians, and we all say that it is the immediate threat. So I mentioned about it. Now all governments do the spying work. Let us see what is here in this Pegasus as far as these news which has come, this list which has been published by Washington Post, The Guardian, Wire, all these newspapers, etc. Groups, I would say rather. Now, can government do it? I would say this area is quite gray. I would put this entire regime in the gray area. But let us see if it is a gray area. One second. So it is a gray area, then we'll see what exactly is the legal proposition. So legal proposition to me is that no law, no legal system prohibit government from buying this software. First thing. So government can buy this. It should be very clear to you. But the big question now comes is, can government use this software the way it is demonstrated, the way it is shown to be used? My answer is no. Government cannot use it the way it is shown. Now let us come to the moot question: what and where government can use something like this? So I would go back to, I would like to give you two sections, two very important sections. One is Section 5 of Indian Telegraph Act. It gives two conditions. It's a very old act, 1800 something. It gives two conditions under which this could have been done. I'm not talking about the broader principle. If the phone hacking is not permitted at all under any law, this should be very, very clear. Rather, it is punishable offense. We'll go to that. Because here, if you ask me, it is what? It is phone hacking only. It is nothing else. It is phone hacking. Phone is hacked. A clone is made. So it is hacking is done, and phone hacking is not permitted. Even, you know, anything under the IT Act it is not permitted. Now moving ahead, as I said, Section 5, and then I'll tell you Section 69. These are the two sections. Section 69 of IT Act. I might read the entire section because it is very relevant. So first, Section 5, which gives us two reasons. If it is in public safety, then the government can do it, or it is in public emergency, then the phone tapping could be done. Now let us see what is Section 69 of IT Act, which is most relevant provision. If we go, it gives a power to issue such directions rather, to intercept the phone, or to do the tapping, or to monitor decoding of any kind of information, basically. I'll try and read this section for the benefit of people. It'll take 1 minute, and I'll just read it because power to issue directions for interception or monitoring or decryption of any information through any computer source. The phone is a computer because it has everything. Where the central government or a state government or any of its officers, especially authorized by the central government or the state government, as the case may be, in this behalf, may, if satisfied, it is necessary or expedient to do in the interest of sovereignty or integrity of India, defense of India, security of state, friendly relation with the foreign country, foreign state, or public order, or for preventing incitement to the commission of any cognizable offense relating to the above, or for investigation of an offense, for investigating any offense also it can be done. It may, subject to the provisions of subsection 2, for the reason to the reason should be recorded in writing, by order, direct any agency of the appropriate government to intercept, monitor, decrypt, or cause to be intercepted or monitored or decrypted any information generated, transmitted, received, or is stored in any computer. Subsection 2, the procedure and safeguards subject to which such interception or monitoring or decoding may be carried out shall be such as may be prescribed. So government can prescribe that, meaning thereby only under these sections, section 69 and section 5, section 69 of IT Act 2000, section 5 of Telegraph Act, only under these two acts basically what this monitoring can be done. Now moving ahead, if I may tell you the other very important aspect, like if such violations are taking place, you appreciate, if such thing will happen, then what will be the outcome? If I may say, I feel it is phone hacking, which is not permitted. You have just seen two clauses. So to me, I'm fully satisfied about it, that it is nothing less than, it is not phone tapping only. It is not less than phone hacking, and phone hacking is an offense under section 66, read with section 43 of IT Act. We'll come to that. But before that, section 69 and section 60, section 5, it is very clear to all of you with this discussion which we had that this is not at all permissible under the law of the land. Now, then how it has happened? You just think about it. If any information about, let's say, a judge, rather I'm saying any information, it includes total information about the judge, everything, nothing will left in the name of, if I may say, privacy, the right which we all have by virtue of a judgment called Justice Puttaswamy judgment 2017, I think. So this very clearly shows that this is a threat to our judiciary. If a judge's calls are recorded, his phone is cloned. It is threat to our democracy. It is threat to each and every aspect of the life where we are living. If it is done? This is a very, very important question. Now, I would like to tell you very, very clearly that this attracts Section 66, Section 43 of Section 66 read with Section 43 of IT Act. So what is Section 66? We should read that as well. Let me see if I am able to get that within a second, because Section 66 is yes, I'll just get it. Oh yes, I've got it. So it says that Section 66 of IT Act 2000, computer related offense, if any person dishonestly or fraudulently does any act referred to in sections 43. Section 43 defines the entire list of acts which are violative of which are basically hacking. Everything is defined in section 43. So he shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 3 years, or with fine which may extend to 5 lakh rupees, or both. Explanation: for the purpose of this section, word dishonestly shall be meaning as so and so. So that is what another very important section. Now, if you want to go to section 43 also, so we can see 43, section 43 of IT Act. It is a long list, I think. I'll just try and read it. Section 43 IT Act. So this is basically nothing but it says penalty and compensation for the damage to the. It includes section 43 of the IT Act 2000. It says that penalty and compensation for the damage of computer system, if any person without permission of any owner, of the permission of the owner or any other person who in charge of the computer system or computer network. Then now A, B, C, D, E, F, so many of them are there. I'll just read one or two. Access or secure access to such computer system or computer network. So here I'm covered in this. Secure access. How can you do that without my knowledge, without my permission? That is one. Now, it is also a data theft. It is a very clearly cyber offense. If you ask any expert, he'll say it is a cyber offense. Because as per the law of land, our own country's legal proposition, this is not permissible. Why it is not permissible? Because it is permissible if the government wants to tap a phone, then government has all rights, but only under the provisions given. Section 5 of the Telegraph Act and Section 69 of the IT Act. So this should be very, very clear. And here, the proposition which is being proposed here and which is being shown to us, it is beyond those two provisions. I'm very clear about it. Now I go to a very little bit, rather I'll just touch base two more things and then we'll go and have our question answer session. One is Putraswamy judgment. All of you must read that privacy judgment, and 9 judges bench had given, and it was held in this judgment that privacy is a fundamental right. They have discussed MP Sharma, Keher Singh, Govind, ADM Jabalpur. All those judgments are taken into account. And thereafter, the law was propounded, which is the law of the land. And as of today, right to privacy is a fundamental right under Article 21. So that is very, very clearly known to all of you. It is basically, if I may go back to this judgment is the one where it is very clearly stated by the Supreme Court that nobody can take away this right. All right. But what has happened, we have seen in this, what you call, episode of Pegasus, it is a clear violation of even Pattuswamy judgment. So now what has happened? Two things has happened after this news has come. So two relevant actions which have happened. I will just tell you all those two also. One is that on Friday, the Supreme Court has accepted the PIL, public interest litigation, filed by two journalists. One is Enram, other is Shashi Kumar. These two journalists have filed. Enram of the Hindu, all of you are aware that the PIL has been filed, it has been admitted, and we expect it to be heard by the Supreme Court next week. That is one development. Now, what are the prayers? That is also very important. The prayers in those petitions are that a SIT should be formed and the entire investigation should be done under the supervision of a retired Supreme Court judge, so that it is an impartial, honest investigation. That is one prayer. Inquiry into the point that who has authorized the government to purchase and use Pegasus software. These are the two, three. There are two, three more prayers also. We have seen very recently that judgment, that application, that petition has also came before the Supreme Court. I think that is also pending, wherein the phone tapping of the woman who was alleged to have, who has alleged the charges of molestation or the, pressure on her by the earlier Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi. So that there is another petition for that also. Now, this is what is the current proposition. One more development I would like to share with you is the development by West Bengal government. What they have done, they have made a commission of inquiry, which is headed by none other than Supreme Court Justice Madan B. Lakur, and another member of the commission is Jyotirmay Honorable Justice retired Jyotirmay Bhattacharya ji. So he was a judge in Calcutta High Court. These two judges will be, so the state government has appointed a body also. So this is all about Pegasus controversy in our country. And I have also given you my opinion. What is my opinion? What exactly is happening? This is not the only country which has used this software. We have got a list of those nations. That's all to my mind coming as of now. Thank you very much. So I would like Arushi or if there are any questions, anybody wants to ask some question, please go ahead. That's all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this session. The floor is now open for questions. You can write your questions in the comment box, or you can raise your hand and then ask the question.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So what would be the initiatives taken by the government in order to safeguard our privacy?
Now the question is other way around. How the government is, violating our privacy, which is the question today. The software like this is certainly violative of our right to privacy. We have seen that the news regarding the violation of this fundamental right is constantly, always we have seen, even during the use of Aadhaar. We have also seen the use of Aadhaar, and there after that we have also seen that um, uh, somewhere the data is being taken over. We have got a FIR is pending in Indore, I think, where a software company has taken away the data and sold the data to some other person. So certainly we have seen so many such incidences coming time and again, where uh, uh, we have seen that data is, our private information, which we don't want to go here and there, is going haywire. And such incidents are nothing but oil in the fire. That is one thing. Now I want to tell you one more very important aspect, which I was listening to one interview wherein we have seen that the American, it was a kind of, not exactly interview, it was a documentary which was showing that how internet and new appliances are doing nothing but surveillance. We have got a very recent case where a lady was, in India only, a woman, some pictures were out, and those pictures were from her bedroom. Now, when this investigation was done, because she was surprised that it is not possible, how she was in her bedroom. Bedroom is absolutely private. How her pictures of her bedroom are out? This was the question, and you will be surprised that this happened by using one bug or software which was installed in her television. We see that we have got televisions which are absolutely with all internet and everything is there in those televisions. So that this also I saw. So I was talking about that documentary where they have said that in a house you see somewhere, phone is there, such kind of television are there, and so many other instruments are there which are continuously spying. Look, another very everyday example I share with you. Kruti, you will appreciate it. Today, you go and try and book your ticket to from Delhi to Gorakhpur. Now, you have what you call flight starting. Flight is there for Gorakhpur. So you book it the next, and you'd leave it like that. Just try and search for it, then leave it. The next moment you will start getting messages that Gorakhpur ticket become very cheap, please look for this. How it happening? This all is, the systems are so well placed that the moment anybody is searching, you will be surprised. Another day I was talking to a client from Canada, and they were discussing with me on some particular software. I am still not able to digest it. I received 2 telephone calls from somebody that we are dealing in this kind of software. How? I don't know. I just spoke. So that's another. I think what I feel is that this surveillance is a constant threat, firstly. Secondly, it is no more a threat now, it is a reality. So that's what my take as on today is. Please, anybody has any other question? So I'm ready to answer.
So I had a question.
Please do.
So can the Pegasus spyware, can it be used the similar way how telephone taping can be used, like after following a procedure of law?
No, I told you, Arushi, very right question you have asked. With the assumption and presumption that government has purchased it, let's say. And if government has purchased, can the same be used by the government the way it is used? The answer is no. Why? We have a specific law provided. The law very clearly says, section 69, I have read the entire portion of the law, that only with that permission only you can do the tapping. That is also a limited authority given to the government. They cannot enter into that realm where they have nothing to. I am talking to my friend, I'm talking to somebody else. How can you listen to everything? I am clicking a picture of my wife, I'm clicking a picture of my friend or anybody. I mean, that's a very small thing I am talking. How can you should have that? How can you be permitted to have access to that? My private moment, how can you take away? That is one. Second is, if the phone of a, I'm a bit confused regarding the concept of fundamental right to privacy, in my opinion. Pallavi is asking something, we'll go to that later on. I think it is in there. So you read it for me. I think, so I'm very clear about it. I think your doubt is clear, I'm sure. What is the next question?
Thank you, sir. I'll read it. I'm a bit confused regarding the concept of fundamental right to privacy. In my opinion, it means that nobody, without my consent, can use or gain access to any information which I would like to keep as private information. That includes our photos on the phone and other electronic media. Many of the apps and third-party companies ask to gain access to our information. So will that be considered under a breach of right to privacy?
Very correct. If you don't want to share something, that is one. Other than that, fundamentally, because it is totally your right, nobody can breach that. And if at all it is breached, it is a violation of law. And now we have got section 66, which clearly defines the offenses. Section 43, you must read. What are access? How can anybody access your data? Nobody can. So it's an offense where not only punishment of 3 years plus is there, but also hefty fine like 5 lakh plus is there. I think you need not worry about it. It is your right, which nobody can take away. But as a matter of fact, when we see the interference by softwares like spy softwares or bugs, as we call it, in your, we have seen it several times. It is happening, and now in this big way, it is really shocking. It is not correct. And I can tell you one thing with my experience: if at all a proper investigation is done, it will lead to a major hue and cry. But let us see what happens. We have seen that in the opposition has not allowed the parliament to work. So let us see what happens and how the people of India are treating it.
Any other questions?
I would like to ask a question.
Yes,
Sir, so I am not a legal professional, but however, listening to you, there was a question which just popped up in my mind, and I thought that let me understand on a layman's perspective. So let's say that this Pegasus software, it is creating, spying on some high profile people, and they come across some of the facts and figures which may solve some ongoing cases related to maybe crime, some or some of such issues which are very pertinent. So maybe like some ghutalas or whatever. So how will this be dealt with? I mean, we got some leads through that spying, but now our IT Act says no, sorry, it cannot be used, or without my consent, that cannot be.
No.
So then, how will this be?
I tell you, section 69 is very, very relevant here. Section 69 clearly mentions on what occasions, if it is to be used for investigation of any crime, the court gives right, the law gives right to the, but there is a procedure for that. You have to adopt that procedure. Investigating agencies can tap your phones, but they cannot clone your phones. You have to appreciate. And if at all, they can tap means they can hear what conversation is going on. I myself have seen it when interacting with various police officers. I have seen the private communications happening on, and the things are recorded by the police. But there is a big but. There is a permission needed. And who is going to give the permission? Kindly see the section. It says, I think, a very high official to the level of secretary, that to cabinet secretary level person is to be authorized. It is not that ABC gets up and start listening to your things as in this Pegasus. Whether do you think the cabinet secretary will be giving, or the person specifically authorized to give the permission? Any of these 300 people, they are not the criminals. So that thing is allowed. And I told you in the beginning of my discussion today that all governments use the spywares. All government use the spywares. There is no doubt about it. They use the spywares, and these spywares are used for, as I told you, the region sovereignty, integrity of the nation. Many reasons are there, and we have a full-fledged department, and these are very, very important instruments. So surveillances are done, but you can't do surveillance on somebody who's absolutely, who is rather the protector of your rights, the Supreme Court judge. You can't do that. Yes.
There's a question in the chat box also, sir. A committee to probe Pegasus scandal has been formed by West Bengal government. Is that legally valid, or only union government can probe this scandal?
It is very much legally valid, but the report is not binding. We have seen it happening before also. We have seen such kind of committees formed before also.
So there's another question. Since government has the power to intercept anyone's data when it comes to nation sovereignty and security, that too with legal means, but my question is, can the authorities use such spywares like Pegasus for the same purpose?
I gave this answer. This is already given, but for the sake of it, I'll once again say the answer is no. Pegasus software cannot be used because it is not permissible to clone. It is not permissible to hack a phone or a computer device, be it even after the approval of Section 5 of Telegraph Act, Section 69 of IT Act. Despite that, it doesn't fall within the permissible limits as provided under these two sections.
Yeah. There are no other questions right now.
So that's very nice. So I take it as if I have explained it. I'll be very happy that I have explained it nicely, though that is not the right thing.
So the session covered every major aspect, I believe.
I have tried, to my memory, whatever I could have done. I think this was a small subject, but certainly a very, very important subject. Students should know about it. What is IT Act? What is the right to privacy? So you must go through those judgments also, which I mentioned during the course, including the Justice Potoswamy judgment.
Thank you, sir, for taking out time and helping us understand the legal perspective of Pegasus Spyware. I now request Siddharth sir to kindly deliver the vote of thanks.
Hello, sir. So Thank you, Mr. Chadha, for delivering such a nice talk on a very pertinent topic that we are bearing with these days. And it's just not that you talked about only Pegasus, but you gave varied other aspects which are related to the issue of privacy. And I believe that's a very strong starting point for the research of the attendees. They can start the research around this topic and publish few articles around this. And it's not just for the people who are inclined towards the privacy law; it's for the entire fraternity of the law students, even the faculties. So thank you on behalf of School of Law, Bennett University, for delivering this talk, and we'll try and hold more such talks on relevant issues in the upcoming times to come. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank
And
you, sir. I'm
thank you,
sure I speak on
Arushi.
behalf of all the viewers that our understanding of this topic have increased tremendously.
Thank you very much. God bless you, and keep, just a piece of advice. Please read the judgments. These will increase your knowledge. Very, very important to all the law students. I have this piece of advice for you. Go through the judgments. Case laws will make you very, very strong as far as the law is concerned. The understanding of law will be very good if you read the case judgments. So with that, I think we will close this session. Thank you very much, Maharaj Gaurav ji, Siddharth ji, and two beautiful daughters, Arushi and Shruti. God bless both of you.
Sir, just a second. So we have our head career services, Mr. Rakesh, also on the call. So Rakesh sir, would you like to say something? Rakesh sir, can you hear me? I think he is facing some network issue.
No problem.
So thank you so much, sir, for your time. And as you have already helped always to my students, so we really appreciate the same. So we'll,
it
as
is
Siddharth
all
said,
the students, it is my duty to do that. I feel that way. And whenever any student has anything you want to know, anywhere you have some guidance is required, Shruti, Arushi, and other students like them, you please connect with me. We have a small, you can either write to me on my social media accounts. You must also visit one YouTube channel, which is Spreading Legal Awareness with Sanjay K. Chadha. Please go to that, watch various smaller legal issues which come every day. We talk about that in that with whatever limited means for spreading legal awareness, which is what we are doing. And I'm very happy to say that many of the students have really supported that cause, and they are doing a lot of wonderful work. I'm really amazed. Students are so effective. They are doing, and that's wonderful. So I feel that we are in safe hands as far as our future is concerned. Thank you very much once again, and let us close this session now.
Thank you, sir.
thank you, sir.